I can almost guarantee you that they don't care about, A person complimenting your fragrance has, more often than not, unless I'm complimenting you, the person who gives you a compliment on your fragrance has no idea what you're wearing, nor how much it costs, or any of that. Let's talk about the most complimented fragrances that I have in my collection. You'd be quite surprised. Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? My name's Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today we're gonna be talking about my top 10 most complimented of all time. Forget the price tag for this video, and I think I will follow up with most complimented fragrances divided in price points, shall we? Maybe I'll do a Middle Eastern version, a dupe version, the most complimented dupes, and the most complimented niche and designer, etc. Let me know in the comment section if you'd be interested in something like that and actually separating them into the most complimented cheapies. For this list, I was very limited to only 10 because I don't want to take up too much of your time, but get your popcorn ready because we're gonna go ahead and just dive right in. So the first fragrance on this list is in no particular order. It's just going to be what I reach for first. One of my most complimented scent profiles is also, by the way, there are a lot of factors that go into compliments, and let's just drop the disclaimer real quick. Number one, frequency of wearing. That's something that maybe the reviewer should potentially tell you. I've worn a lot of these fragrances quite a bit. Number two, appeal, bro. Like, do I have to tell you, bro, that you gotta like shower, clean your ass, shave your beard, do all that stuff? Like, if you smell like stank and you're wearing like the shirt from 4 days ago and you're going to pick up pizza and you're wearing a fragrance and you come back and say you didn't get compliments, like I can't help you.
Get your shit together.
But needless to say, this is in a perfect scenario. Like, get your stuff together. Like, bro, the makeup for a woman, they like literally draw a new face on. It's almost like academy of like drawing a new face. It's crazy, especially when I see those like Temu. Oh, bro, it's just insane. It'll be like this old woman that turns into some anime chick.
To the old lady.
We don't have that shit. We have to look the way God made us look and walk out in public. But we can at least groom ourselves, and that's equivalent to our makeup, including your fragrance. So let's go ahead and get started, man. Here we go. First fragrance is going to be PDM's Layton. This is just incredible in terms of the performance and in terms of the compliments and scent profile for me personally. Now, with this scent profile, it's got something that's a lot ambery, vanillic, it's got geranium, very aromatic, a little bit spiced, and some people get this like mentholated vibe. I get this apple pie, maybe a little bit mentholated, spiced, and very sexy AF. This also smells pretty exotic. If you're into exotic scent profiles, this is one that will potentially get your compliment. The compliment factor for this one is also pretty high, and because of the fact that it's like polarizing, it's very bold in what it's doing. It's not just a clear-cut ambery scent, right? And I think for the most part, a lot of you guys already know what this smells like. When you go and sniff this one, it might be a little challenging, especially in the beginning. But if you're new into fragrances, you should try and actually spray this one on and go. Because in the beginning, you're kind of looking for, you're trained to think fresh, clean showers, fresh, clean showers. But when you wear something that's a little polarizing and unusual and different, and you walk out and it might be out of your comfort zone, as it develops, you start to really appreciate what it's doing. You don't just smell clean, you have other aspects about you that are interesting. And it's that exact description that I gave you that, generally speaking, translates into a more compliment-worthy scent profile. People who have something or smell something a little unusual, at first reaction, it'll be turn your head. You know, it's a neck breaker right away. And then after that, they'll then determine whether or not they like it. And when it's something that's vanillic, pretty easy to like and smells good, it doesn't smell like funk or ass, then it's like, yo, you smell good. You smell different, but that's not the first thing they're saying. But that is the first thing that they're thinking. It's like, that's different. And then, because typically speaking, you go out about your day, you're smelling cookies, you're smelling, at least in my house, right? Like, you're making cookies and shit. But anyway, you'll smell clean florals, you'll smell people who showered, you'll smell people until you're walking by, and then you smell someone that's like, wait, what is that?
Wait, what is that?
And it's that split second that's determined whether or not you're gonna compliment it or you're just gonna give that stank face and walk away. So in that case, you do want something that's a little unusual, and that's what this one is. It's exotic, it's unusual, and it's a lot more compliment worthy than just your typicals like YEDP, etc. Needless to say, that still smells fantastic. And what that one does, it still has that compliment factor. Like, what is a compliment factor, right? Well, it's that. It's exactly that. It's something that's recognized as a little bit more intense or unusual from everything else during the day. And YEDP, you can argue and say it smells like a shower gel scent profile, and technically that should be on this list here, but it's not, but it's okay. Is it okay though? It's on this list, okay? Pop it up, here you go. One of the most compliment worthy as well, because although it's familiar and it smells like shower gel, it's very intense. And it's intense to the point where it's like somebody showering right next to me, and then you turn around, that's that neck break factor, and then as soon as you realize, your brain makes that connection, that smells really clean, it just smells intense. and it's like, hey, you smell really good. Done. There you go. So similar to that, this is also very highly complimented. It also has to last and project in order for it to be sensed and break necks. It's actually a pretty interesting topic I will likely make a video on. And for the most part, those types of videos end up on the AROMATIX show. My new podcast, you guys should definitely go check out. It's going to be, I'll place this here where you can go and click on it, some interesting topics. We're gonna be talking about things like how many sprays, maceration, maturation and projection and complement factors. And if you really want to know and have a little bit more in-depth and knowledge is power, then make sure to go and check that one out. So first one was Layton. Next one, it's not that expensive. This is very exotic as well, has a lot of those complement factors like I mentioned, and it really emphasizes more so on the like unusual. What is that? This is called Ahmed Maghribi Ignite Oud. This is not a safe blind buy by any means, and for the most part, I mean, you could kind of imagine that this territory won't really be the most safe blind buys, right? Because you really want to capitalize on that whole neck naked. Where's this going? You really want to break necks, master, and naked. You can get the idea.
Yeah, boy.
Basically, it usually starts with a compliment. But anyways, you really capitalize on that whole neck breaking situation or scenario. And this one will definitely do that. It's very intense, very punchy passion fruit and a very dry and inky woods. It has oud in this fragrance, but you guys, it doesn't smell animalistic. It's just very, very intense and punchy. I would never spray this more than 4 sprays. And it kind of reminds me of a vein of fragrances between Oud Marcuja meets a lot more jammy rose. Super sexy, and my God. There's not been a single time I've worn this and not got a compliment. It's dangerous. Moving on to the next one, it's called Salvatore Ferragamo Uomo. Now this doesn't necessarily have the most neck-breaking factor to it. However, I will say that I wore this one a lot. And being somebody who's very outgoing and talkative, and like if you guys were here, we would be having this conversation in person. This is genuinely who I always am and have been and will be. And that's why this one, being a signature scent of mine, got me a lot of compliments, especially during college and school, and I wore it all year round. Sometimes this would be an unusual scent profile when I would wear it during the summertime, because psychologically, what this one actually smells like, let me give you the descriptor, is this citrus peppers, ambery tiramisu. So coffee, vanilla, ambroxan. And for the most part, when I would wear it during the summertime, it was a little unusual psychologically. You're not going to think something, sweet and ambery during the summertime, and so it would turn necks. And then once you've registered that it actually smells pretty good, depending on how much you spray it, because during the summertime I didn't spray this as much and it worked, it got me a few compliments. There's a lot of psychology and a lot more to just wearing your fragrance and just saying this works. And that's why I highly recommend that you guys check out the How Many Sprays podcast episode, because I do talk about a lot of that, like the psychological aspect and etc. And I do plan on, after this one, making a compliments video as well, going a little bit more in depth. So for the sake of the rest of this video, we're just gonna go back into what got me compliments and how. Moving on to the next one, this is called Liquid Brun. You guys, the price tag does not mean better compliments. It might mean better performance, it might mean better quality, but that's even then not always the same case. Liquid Brun smells like vanilla, ambroxan, cinnamon, and orange flower. A nice floral touch with a lot of spice and vanilla at the same time. A lot of performance and projection too, and this is a dupe of Altair. I swear to God, this has gotten me more compliments than Altair itself. It's given me better longevity, better performance, and I would personally stick to this one over Altair. That's it, simple as that. This has got me a compliment to the point where I was with another woman, we were walking around, the woman came up to us and like right in her face said, "You smell delicious," straight to my face. And
something smells delicious.
That's how that one ended. Didn't really end that well. So moving on to the next one, this is relatively new. It's about 4 months in, but this has landed me quite a few compliments, and more specifically during like grocery shopping or going to the gym, etc., because I've been wearing this one around that for the most part. This is called Zena's Hypnotic Amber, another one that I've been signature scenting because I'm in love with it. This smells like chestnut, vanilla, toffee, also some Davana and some peppers. Outstanding fragrance that smells like Stronger With You intensely, but I also like this one even more. And I placed this one in this list over that one because it's just that much stronger. It's got a richer scent profile, tones down some of that cinnamon. It's not as spicy as intensely, but it's more ambery and sweet. I fucking love this shit, man. This stuff projects, it performs. 6 sprays, I'm set the entire day, even on skin. I also feel like this one could technically be rocked by a woman who likes rich and deep scent profiles. Super sexy ass stuff. It's like Strong With You Intensely meets By the Fireplace, but only the best aspects of By the Fireplace. Love it. On to the next one. This is called Prada L'Homme. This was a signature scent of mine for a long time, especially when going into the office or while working at the hospital, because it just smells like straight up Middle Eastern fabric softener. And for those of you who don't know, Middle Eastern spices, specifically cardamom, etc., are very common in the Middle East, in case you didn't know. And so for the longest time, I made this my fabric softener style of scent. It smells very easy. You just took it out of the laundry, except it has that additional spice of cardamom, and that's giving it that Oriental / Middle Eastern vibe. So even this, although it's a French and Italian fragrance, yes, it does smell Middle Eastern, but in every good way. It's very mass appealing, it's very sexy, and for the most part, a lot of people have that stigma of Middle Eastern, it's gonna smell spicy and oody and barty. No, dude, no. We have many freshies, and this is in fact, it smells like a very Middle Eastern scent, and it smells phenomenal. It's also got that lipsticky style of iris, but not too intense or as buttery as something like Dior Homme Intense. If you want something with that vibe that's done at a level you can wear every day, Prada L'Homme is excellent, and they didn't reformulate. Moving on to the next one, I want to give you guys another cheapie, shall we? It's called Dumont Nitro White. This shit is a little rocket. So Nitro Red did get me a lot of compliments, but after Nitro White came out, or after I got my hands on Nitro White, this definitely did more. It adds, literally, it takes Nitro Red. You're gonna ask whether or not it's redundant. It might be, but I like this one more. I personally don't think it's redundant, but let me just give you the description and you can judge. This smells like the red with more ambers and more vanilla. It makes it a richer scent profile. It gives it another body and depth, and I think it's unisex. That's it. This will last all day. It'll project, and it has been my most complimented scent profile for around 35 freaking bucks. Moving on to the next one. This was also a signature scent for a lot of seasons and a lot of times. It didn't do the best during the summertime. It's called Spicebomb Extreme. The peppers, the vanilla, and especially during its time, you guys, it was unusual. As of today, it's not as unusual anymore, so it kind of decreases that whole neck-breaking factor, right? But during its time, it was the only thing that was this raunchy, and it got me so Spicebomb Extreme smells like vanilla, spices, and that's pretty much it. A lot of vanilla. And it smells outstanding. This thing will last pretty much the entire day if you spray it at least like 8 to 12 times. If you spray anything less than that, it'll give you like a good 7 to 8 hours. Very sexy and date night appropriate. One of my most complimented. By the way, guys, if you want to find any of these fragrances on discounters, you don't have to pay retail. I don't ever buy retail unless it's brand new. Then I have to buy it at retail and some. Sometimes I even pay premium so that I can get it from friends. So check out all these codes, and Joma Shop also has in-app coupons where you can use them in the application. Save money if you're already saving money. You can also find my fragrances AROMATIX on Joma Shop right now for around 59 bucks. And although Carnal Desire has to be another one that's very compliment worthy and complimented, I wanted to kind of keep any suspected biases out of this video. So let's just keep that one out there, but it is very compliment worthy. Moving on to the next one. This is called Strong With You, the original. This is definitely one of my most complimented scents, and it was a signature scent as well. It's also got something unusual. It starts off relatively fresh citrus with some peppers, and then it adds like this vanilla, but a chestnut as well, something nutty, and then some dose of smoke. That's perfectly balanced and blended, and even that, in the way that it's, composed and stuff, is rich. It's attention grabbing, and that's exactly what this one is. This one I feel like was overshadowed by a lot of other fragrances. It was out when it wasn't in. Like that whole sexy, sweet scent profile wasn't in yet. And I feel like if it was, it would have potentially been up there with other clubbing fragrances like Ultramol. This was it, man. And it still does get me compliments to this very day, even sometimes more than Intensely in itself. But even for Intensely, I'd go the Hypnotic Amber for sure. We're down to the final two. And the last one, I'll make an honorable mention just because it's been like, it started off as something I didn't really enjoy. But this one was also a signature scent of mine for a long time. It's called Versace Dylan Blue. This is like the Sauvage of the Middle East. It's got that same ambroxan citruses. It also adds like this incensey vibe underneath it all. A bit more spicy than Sauvage in itself, but it smells fantastic. It's like a bluer, smokier version of Sauvage. It smells great, it lasts a long time, it got me plenty of compliments. If you don't like the Sauvage DNA, you probably won't enjoy this one, but there's nothing wrong with it. In my opinion, it still gets compliments to this very day, but Dylan Blue would be my pick overall. Last but not least, honorable mention, because it gets a shit ton of compliments whenever I rock this one. It's just, it started off as like a, I don't really care for it, smells too soapy, etc. And now it's turned into a love. It's called Louis Vuitton's Imagination. Also, the price tag of this is outrageous. But then again, it is what it is. It's still becoming one of the most complimented. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are my most complimented fragrances to date. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an inclusion of other realms, not just cheap, not just designers, not just niche. These over all of them are the most complimented, and I wear plenty of niche, and I can guarantee you that some of them have not gotten me compliments as much as some of these freaking cheapies. Needless to say, a lot of them have landed compliments and are compliment worthy, but I'll make those separate videos and we'll emphasize a little bit more on those. Let me know down in the comment section which one of these you agree, which one of these just does not work with you. And also, if you are interested in watching that video, breaking down the whole compliment factors, etc. My name's Neve, thank you for tuning back in AROMATIX, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.